Hi everyone. I'm sorry I was out for a couple of months with no lessons. But today I got an English lesson for you, an educational English lesson for you. And this is English lesson 8. It's going to be about law enforcement. So what is law enforcement? There are more than 800,000 sworn law enforcement officers now serving in the United States. Around 137 of those officers work for federal law enforcement agencies. The law enforcement purposes of these agencies are the investigation of suspected criminal activity, referral of the results of investigations to the state or federal prosecutors, and the temporary detention of suspected criminals pending judicial action. Law enforcement agencies are also involved in providing first response to emergencies and other threats to public safety, the protection of certain public facilities and infrastructure, such as private property, the maintenance of public order, the protection of public officials, and the operation of some detention facilities, usually at the local level. Just want you to look at this picture. This is what it normally a police station looks like in the US. In the United States, women are allowed to serve as well as police officers. So what are some of the careers in law enforcement? We're gonna go over a few, and only few because the list is long. We're gonna talk about what and how much they normally make for a police officer, military police, patrol officers, deputy sheriff, detective, state patrol agent, a cadet, a border patrol agent, chief of police, and a U.S. Marshal. What are some of the most common crimes? Well, we all know cyber crimes, robbery, identity theft, fraud, aggravated assault, etc. More severe crimes are extortion, of course, human trafficking, arson, and what are called some of the violent crimes would be murder, sex crimes, and organized crimes. Organized crimes, when I use that word or hear that word, it comes to mind something a lot larger, like maybe drug dealings, the cartels, etc. It's just an example, of course. This is this page is gonna take a while, but I think you'll learn quite a bit on this page. We're gonna talk about each of these officers or jobs, what do they do in general, and the average salary. So a police officer, their salary is normally around $47,170 per year plus benefits. Most of them do receive benefits when they have a full-time job, and normally involves medical care for themselves and their relatives, sometimes tuition for college, and other perks. A police officer, as a police officer, you'll patrol a neighborhood by vehicle or on foot. Because public safety is a 24/7 duty, you'll work rotating shifts, including evenings, weekends, in holiday hours. You'll respond to emergency and non-emergency calls for service and promote the safety of the public and of a fellow officer. A military police is similar to that. They make a little more, but not by much, around 48,000 and change per year, plus benefits. They ensure the safety of all base, weapons, property, and personnel, conduct investigations into any on-base incidents, participate in team patrols, tactical drills, battle procedures, and military operations other than war, apprehend and detain suspects, secure crime scenes, and testify in judicial proceedings, apply life-saving procedures as first responders to disaster scenes, train handlers and military working dogs. I would like to adopt a retired military working dog. They are adorable. A patrol officer. Patrolling is assigned to areas on foot or horseback or car or bicycle, and being on the lookout for suspicious or illegal activity, performing on the scene investigations, helping people in trouble and rendering other public services, issuing citations, serving arrest warrants, and arresting people on misdemeanors and felony charges, pursuing fleeing suspects on foot, most times, handcuffing and searching arrested persons and reading them their rights. A deputy sheriff has a little more responsibility, and that's why he or she makes more money, around 59,000 per year, plus benefits. A deputy sheriff must adhere to in order to enforce the law, from responding to emergency and tracking down and arresting criminals. A deputy sheriff has a lot to do. Other duties may include conduct criminal investigations, obtain any necessary warrants, and arrest suspects, be present in courtrooms and guard courthouses, gather evidence, interview witnesses, and conduct any crime scenes investigations. Fill out forms and detail reports, patrol their assigned sectors, and operate their county jail. A detective. I probably would have enjoyed being a detective myself very much. We have a friend that is an awesome, well-known detective in Florida. Their average salary is $63,000 or more plus benefits. A detective specializes in solving crimes and gathering evidence to support legal proceedings. Detectives play an important role in a criminal justice system, working closely with law enforcement agencies and other stakeholders to uncover the truth behind complex cases. Their primary objective is to identify perpetrators, establish motives, and present a compelling case for prosecution. State Patrol. They make around 48,000, same as a military police, pretty much close, plus benefits. A state patrol or state police officer is a law enforcement professional employed by a state agency. They're responsible for enforcing traffic and criminal laws on state-regulated highways, responding to emergencies involving motorists, and assisting with detours and evacuations. A cadet is it's pretty much how you get into the police department at times. They get paid per hour, and they work under direct supervision. A police cadet performs tasks in various divisions of the police department, perform clerical duties, keep records, enter information into the computer systems, answers the telephone, and provide information and directions to the general public, process information and prepare reports as assigned, prepares a variety of correspondence and statistical information, of course, learns how to use radio systems. They get paid around $17 and $53 per hour. Border Patrol. I almost went into becoming a Border Patrol many years ago when I was living in a border town. Their average salary is around $52,000 to $89,000 per year. It's a dangerous job on today's date. It's a fascinating job. They make good money and they get benefits. Border Patrol agents, or BPAs, are focused 24/7 on securing our international land borders and coastal waters between ports of entry to the U.S. They safeguard American people from terrorists and their weapons and detect and prevent drugs smugglers and the illegal entry of undocumented non-citizens. Or at least at some point they used to do that. Border Patrol processing coordinator supports BPAs with humanitarian care and intake processing of detainees and provide other clerical administrative support to agents and other agency personnel. Chief of Police. They make good money, around $100,000 a year per plus benefits. Chief of Police oversees the planning, assigning, and management of activities of the patrol unit or units. Chief of Police coordinate patrol, crime prevention, and detective operations, develop policies and regulations, plans budgets for the police department, designing crime prevention programs. And final, a U.S. Marshal. I think I would have enjoyed that job very much as well. I know. You probably laugh about it if you knew me in person. They make around $123,000 and change a year plus benefits. The mission of the U.S. Marshal Service is to enforce federal laws and provide support to virtually all elements of the federal justice system by providing for the security of federal court facilities and safety of judges and other court personnel, apprehending criminals, exercising custody of federal prisoners, and providing for their security and transportation to correctional facilities, executing federal court orders, seizing assets gained by illegal means, and providing for the custody, management, and disposal of forfeited assets, assuring the safety of endangered government witnesses and their families, and collecting and dispersing funds. What is forensic science? When I was teaching in Iraq, one of the students told me she was very interested in forensic science, so maybe I'll send her a book. It's a fascinating field. The word forensic comes from the Latin word forensic, public, to the forum or public discussion, argumentative, rhetorical, belonging to debate or discussion. A relevant modern definition of forensic is relating to, use in, or suitable to a court of law. Any science used for the purpose of the law is a forensic science. The forensic science are used around the world to resolve civil disputes, to justly enforce criminal laws and government regulations, and to protect public health. Forensic science may be involved any time on an objective scientific analysis is needed to find the truth and to seek justice in legal proceedings. Analyze information and document findings. In most cases, the item or items in question are provided to the forensic scientist for examination and analysis. In other cases, they might need to go to the scene to conduct an on-site analysis, gather evidence, or document facts for later analysis. Having been provided or having gathered the relevant information, the forensic scientist has to decide which examinations, tests, or analysis are appropriate and relevant to the issue in dispute. For instance, is that powder cocaine or not? Did a defect in the road surface cause the crash? They must conduct the most appropriate tests, analysis, and document the process to interpret the results and document the steps followed to reach this conclusion or opinion. You see a forensic science investigator normally in crime scene investigation, crime scene reconstruction, general forensic science, DNA analysis, serology, blood stain pattern analysis, shooting reconstruction, shoe print identification, hair examination, latent print development, fracture match analysis. Well, that's in general what forensic science does. Here, from top left to right, you're gonna see some of the supplies and equipment an agent or a law enforcement officer is going to need. A uniform, of course, the primary duty weapon, comfortable shoes or boots, body armor, radio, flashlight, a baton, leg restraint, gloves, medical kit, a wrist watch, ammunition, of course, for the gun, narcotics testing supplies, fingerprint kit, and handcuffs. These are just few of the items you need when you become an officer in the U.S. or an agent. Arrest, booking, and bail. When someone is arrested and taken to jail, their first concern is how they can get out. Several things must happen before the authorities release an individual from jail. The process typically involves a booking process. That's where they take your fingerprints and your picture. Process a bail hearing that determines whether the person arrested may be released pending trial and set the bail amount. Once the accused has posted bail themselves or through a bail bond agent, they are released. This section provides articles describing the arrest, booking, and bail process with helpful information describing how bail bonds and how the amounts are set to determine and how they can help to secure a person released from jail. Obviously, in some instances, people are not allowed to be bailed out of jail. Depends on the kind of crime, but most likely you will need a lawyer. And that's your lawyer right there on the right. Some of the most common crimes in the U.S. Drug crimes. Any of these activities can result in a drug crime charge against you. Notice that simply having drugs or drug paraphernalia for personal use is considered a crime. Possession of controlled substance, drugs with the intent to sell them, of course, is also a crime. It is important to understand that you do not have to own the drugs or drug paraphernalia to be charged with possession. Some people have been charged for possession of drugs, drug paraphernalia that belongs to someone else. It can happen. If you have been arrested for drug crimes because the police found someone else's drugs on your house or your car, you might need an experienced criminal defense lawyer to represent you. DUI. DUI is drinking alcohol and driving, basically. Drinking and driving. DUI, you might have seen billboards which state phrases like bus driving is drunk driving for those who've been in the US. This statement is actually true. A charge for driving under the influence does not require a person to act like they are drunk, such as slurring or being unable to walk correctly. Instead, the law considers the blood alcohol concentration of the driver to determine whether they are driving under the influence. If your blood alcohol concentration is 0.08% or above, DUI charges can be brought against you. Now let's go over federal charges. Usually federal crimes carry harsher sentences than state crimes. Any prison time will be served, of course, in a federal prison rather than in a state prison. Federal crimes are investigated by government agencies. Some examples of investigating agencies include the Drug Enforcement Agency, DEA, or the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI. Federal crimes are handled in federal court with federal judges, while, of course, state crimes are handled in state court with state judges and represented by the Department of Justice. Cases that have been referred from the investigating agencies, the prosecutor is the U.S. Attorney. Now let's go over felonies, felony charges. Felony crimes involve time in prison, while misdemeanor crimes involve jail time. Felony crimes, it's the time that you spend in jail. It's the difference. Felony crimes involve prison time of 365 days or more. Misdemeanors are punishable also to be sent to jail. An example of Nevada, in Nevada, Category D felony is forgery, which can result in prison time of 1 to 4 years and fines of $5,000. A possession of control systems is a Category E felony. That can have you sentenced also 1 to 4 years and fines up to $15,000. Here are some pictures of uniforms some of these agents wear. Look at the picture. The first one appears to be a detective. Second, Special Forces Squad Police. Third one, a patrol officer, for sure, directing traffic. And the next one, a Border Patrol agent. What can I say? Thank you for attending my class. I hope you learned something new. Please subscribe to my channel and remember that English is my second language. However, it is good for you to hear different accents, as you won't always practice your English with an American. Until next time, I love you all. I hope you like this class.